Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Graham Clark. I'm a Baptist minister, and at the moment I'm the moderator of Potters Bar Baptist Church, which means that I'm here to care for the church and to help the church as it seeks a new minister. But I also come to bring pastoral care and support to those who are in need. And so it's with that background that I welcome you here this afternoon. We come to this service of thanksgiving and memories to take advantage of this opportunity, really, to pause in our everyday lives, to stop, to reflect, and to give thanks for those who we've been close to, perhaps also people whom we've known tangentially. Maybe those people who have passed away in this past 18 months when it hasn't been possible to have the sort of farewell funerals that we would have liked. Or maybe there are people who have passed away many years ago in our lives, but who still leave an understandable gap in our lives. All of these people matter, and you matter, and this service is for you to join in as much or as little as you would like, because we will have times of silence, we'll have times of activity, and we'll have times of music and words. But also this afternoon, because of the situation that we find ourselves in, we want also to remember those people who care for us and have cared for those who have passed away. And so, as part of this service, we'll also be giving thanks to those who have served our communities through the health service and through all the other myriad ways in which people have supported the community, both through their employment but also as individuals. So, as I say, this service is for you. If you feel that you want to sit and listen to the music and rather than join in the hymns, that's fine. If you just want to sit and be quiet all the way through, that's fine. If you want to join in wholeheartedly, that's fine too. This is for you. So let's begin by first of all having a brief moment of silence, and then Viv will come and read some verses from Matthew's Gospel. We come to be encouraged. We come to be reminded that our faith comes from Jesus Christ.
Good afternoon. The first reading is from Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 to 30. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Amen.
So let us pray together. Almighty God, founder of all time and space, in your hands you hold all that you have made. You breathe life into all creation, for without you there is no life. For all of our lives are hidden and created in you. As we come, we gather to remember those loved people who you have created. We come to seek your help, to help us in our remembrance. We come to ensure that we know the strength and power of your comfort and peace and being upon us in our sadness. We pray that as we leave here, we will have not only been able to share our sadness with you, but also received your hope and encouragement. Amen. Our first song, it will be on the screen, very familiar words of Psalm 23, "The Lord's my shepherd." Psalm 23 beautifully assures us of the presence of God in darkness and in light. Psalm 139 goes in more detail, as it were, and brings us more assurance and more comfort. And Vera and Martin are going to come and read it to us. That's Psalm 139.
Psalm 139, verses 1 to 18. O Lord, you have searched me, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know it completely, O Lord. You hem me in, behind and before. You have laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain.
Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I set on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me, your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light becomes night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. In a night will shine like the day. The darkness is as light to you.
For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, O God! How vast is the sum of them! Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. Amen.
When we're confronted by death, one of the most common feelings we have is of loneliness and emptiness. Even if we'd not known the person who has died very well, that feeling still comes over us because we are immediately aware of a gap in our lives, or even a gap in the world, because that person is no longer around to see, to chat with, or to enjoy their company. Other feelings crowd in too. We sometimes feel confused and puzzled, and we ask how this has come to pass, how this tragedy and loss has happened. We have questions to ask. We want to know what's caused it, and we look for answers wherever we can find them. Sometimes we may also feel angry that this death has happened at all. We may be angry because we think more could have been done to save that person, to help them. We may feel angry with organisations and services who we feel have let us down. Sometimes we may even feel angry towards the person who has died. And we have questions like, why didn't you look after yourself? Why didn't you take my advice? Sometimes we may also have feelings of guilt, wondering whether we could have done something differently, whether our words and actions could have changed the situation. And so with all these feelings, we feel also confusion and regret, because we're left wondering what to do next. We regret the things that we perhaps never got to say or never got to do before that person died. We may even feel guilty and regretful about things which we did do, we did say, and wish we had not before that person died. But then, with all those feelings, we come to moments such as this. Moments when we have to face the complex feelings which make up our sadness. In the course of our bereavements, many people will have reached out full of good intentions, love and care, and offered us words and gestures of sympathy. They may have even said things like, "I know how you must be feeling." But of course they don't, because only we know how we are feeling, because only we have this unique gap in our lives. Each person that we mourn is a special relationship within us, between us and between them. And so, though people are trying their best when they say, "I know how you must be feeling," actually, they can't, because our feelings are individual and personal. But this is where Psalm 139 helps us. Because Psalm 139 reminds us that although our particular personal relationships and sadnesses and griefs are personal, there is one who really does understand what we're feeling. And that is God himself. Psalm 139 says, "You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise, you perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways." Whether we are sad or thankful, frustrated, angry, guilty, or puzzled, God knows. He knows our thoughts from afar, even the thoughts which bother us and which we might not be proud of. And he continues to understand and to know us for who we are and what we're going through forever and ever. The psalmist says, "You hem me in behind and before. You lay your hand upon me." A picture of being surrounded by God's compassion in front of us, behind us, and underneath us. And because of this knowledge of our situation, we can trust in God's grace and love to be always upon us. He doesn't just watch us for a while. He doesn't just expect us to move on and to get over it. He stays with us, sharing in our grief and our sadness and all the other feelings which we have. The psalmist says, "If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me, your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you." Sometimes we feel perhaps that we want to go away and hide. Sometimes we feel we want to sit in a dark place with our sorrow and our thoughts and our memories. But that might hide us from friends and relatives. It might take us away into a peaceful place, but we are not alone. God is with us. He is with us at all times, in all places, and even the darkness is not darkness to him. There is nothing about us and our situation that God doesn't know. Nowhere that we can escape from him. And he knows that for each one of us, as unique and as individual as we are, and as unique and as individual as the people that we have lost are. And so today, whilst we bring our sadnesses and our memories of those who've gone before, we rejoice. We rejoice because we know of his sustaining presence. As we come to this act of remembering, when perhaps tears may rise and pain may reappear, we are not experiencing it alone. We are experiencing it with the hand of God upholding us, the arms of God surrounding us, and his light entering into our sadness and darkness. Take a moment or two just to reflect on those words before we sing our next song. Father God, you know the feelings which we bring here this afternoon. We bring, yes, happy memories of days gone by, but we also bring a burden with us this afternoon of sadness and sorrow, and maybe also guilt and regret, and maybe even anger. Father, we thank you that we do not do this alone, but accompanied by you, our Lord and our Creator. our God in heaven. Amen. The next song reminds us that God is indeed love. God is love. Let heaven adore him. The way in which we remember people varies greatly. Some of us have a photograph in a particular frame in a particular part of our home. Others may go to a particular place that is special. Some of us may listen to particular pieces of music. Some of us may go to a graveside. There is no one way in which we remember our loved ones. What matters is that we do remember, and that our memories that we have, of course, cannot be taken away from us. They are, as I've said, unique to us and unique between us and those whom we've lost. And they stay with us, even though the person who we are mourning is no longer physically amongst us, but in God's presence. So now we have an opportunity to remember in a different way. Before me I have a number of small candles, and if you would like to, and please, this is entirely up to you if this is something you would like to do. If you would like to come and light a candle as a reminder of the person or people who you are mourning, Then we're going to play some music, and gradually you would slowly come and we will light the candles. If this isn't helpful to you, then please don't feel you have to. As I say, we all remember in different ways. But each of these candles will represent a special memory, a special person, special lives who are special to people within this church this afternoon. So let us pray. Father God, we come before you with our memories and thanksgiving. Remember the good times and the happy times. Remember the challenging times and the hard times. But above all, we remember people whom we have been close to and whom were close to us in body and mind, but are now close to you in their spirit, but still part of our lives. So as these candles are lit, we offer them to you as prayers of thanksgiving for all that was and all that continues to be and all that will be in the years ahead. Amen. There is a technique. Oh dear. There we go. So one by one, whenever you feel ready, as the music plays, do come and light a candle if you feel this would be an appropriate way to remember someone known to you. Loving God, we thank you for each life that is celebrated and remembered here. Each flame bringing light into darkness. Each flame flickering and reminding us of how brittle life is. And yet each flame brings its own warmth. Warmth of love, the warmth of memories, warmth that can never be taken away. Thank you, Lord, for these lights, for all they represent, and for all that they enable us to say about our love for one another and your love for us. And particularly, we want to remember those whose names have been left on our leaves, and as I read them out, we will place them on the tree of remembrance. Dear God, take my daughters into your hand and keep them safe. Remember Pete and Margaret Lee. We remember Julie Gale. We remember Pam and family, Kelly and family, Viv and family, Nicholas and family, Julie's family, Shirley and Martin. We remember Julie, Derek, Moira, Matthew, Jenny, Anne, Stan, Angela and Keith. May they rest in peace. We remember Julie Gale. We remember Roy, and Mum and Dad, and all loved ones. We remember Maria Gledhill. And Florence Uicha. We remember Robbie Lee, that God will look over him and return him to full health. We remember good friends, June Gray, Jenny Earnsham, Pete and Margaret Lee, Julie, Flossie, June Orrell, Viv's mum and mum-in-law, Bill and Leslie, Ivy, Jackie and Colin. We remember Mike Leggett. And June Sorrell. We remember Angelo and Alfan and family. Remember George, Barbara and family, Dad and Mum and all friends. Julie Gale. Second cousin Graham and Auntie Drew, we remember. We remember with thanks Benjamin Owicha. We remember and give thanks for Alan Rain. Remember Shadek Bacchus. We give thanks for George Lowe and Bronwyn Warmold. Remember Joy Sanford. We give thanks to God for Malik Takavi and John Watts. We remember Margaret Lee and Gwen Mason. We give thanks for Peter Lee and for George and Kevin. We remember Kevin also, and the Reverend James Buckley, previous minister of this church, fondly known as Jim. We also remember Brian Langstone and Doris Levine, Moira Morris and John Oliver and Eric Gill and Jenny Earnshaw. Loving God, these people are not just names, they are your children. They matter to you and they matter to us. We thank you for them and we pray for them. We pray for all that they have done as they've touched our lives and our lives have touched theirs. And we thank you that they are now in your eternal presence, free from the limitations of this world. May your love and some mercy surround them and all those who mourn them, now and in the days ahead. Amen. Now Pam is going to read a poem.
The gift of tears. Lord, we give you thanks for the gift of tears, for tears of grief, redeeming our mourning from despair, for tears of anger, awakening our thirst for justice, for tears of laughter, celebrating our joy in living. May the light of Christ, shining through our tears, become the rainbow of your promise, shedding colors of your love's bright presence in your grieving, struggling, laughing world. Amen.
Our hymn is Through All the Changing Scenes of Life, in trouble and in joy, a reminder that God is with us wherever we are and whatever we're doing, through all the changing scenes of life. Over the past 18 months or more, we have become greatly aware of the great number of people whom we often take for granted. People who work in the NHS, people who work in social care, people who just keep our world running. They've not only worked and are continuing to work increasingly hard, but have often done so at great cost to themselves and their own families. Even in some cases, we remember losing their own lives in their care for those who have suffered from COVID. We're also aware that in many cases, these carers have acted as surrogate family members, sitting with patients, bringing peace and comfort to them in their closing hours. And the gratitude of us all to people who have served in this way and so many other ways is incalculable. Yet there's one phrase which jumps out at me from Scripture, where Jesus says, "Greater love has no one, but they lay down their life for another." Laying down our lives may not be literal in the sense of losing our life, but laying down our lives in terms of caring and sacrificing time and family connections and going the extra mile certainly still fits those words of Jesus. And so we're going to recognize now those whom have served in that way. And we're going to hear a poem read by Shirley. It's called The NHS Army. It was first written for, and I think broadcast on Radio 4. So Shirley's going to read this to us now as a tribute to those, not just in the NHS, but also those who have served us in so many other ways.
The NHS Army by Matt Kelly. I'll tell you a tale that's been recently written of a powerful army so great it saved Britain. They didn't have bombs and they didn't have planes. They fought with their hearts and they fought with their brains. They didn't have bullets, armed with just a mask. We sent them to war with one simple task: to show us the way, to lead and inspire us, to protect us from harm and fight off the virus. It couldn't be stopped by a bulletproof vest. An invisible enemy invaded our chests. So we called on our weapon, our soldiers in blue. All doctors, all nurses, our country needs you. We clapped on our streets, hearts bursting with pride, as they went off to war while we stayed inside. They struggled at first as they searched for supplies, but they stared down the virus in the whites of its eyes. They leaped from the trenches and didn't think twice. Some never came back, the ultimate price. So tired, so weary, yet still they fought on, as the virus was beaten and the battle was won. The many of us owe so much to so few. The brave and the bold are heroes in blue. So let's line the streets and remember our debt. We love you, our heroes, lest we forget.
So let's take a moment's silence to remember those who have served us, who have loved people who were strangers to them, in hospitals, in care homes, those who have given up hours of their lives working in surgeries, bringing around vaccinations, those who've researched to create the vaccines, those who spend and have spent and continue to spend time processing tests in laboratories around the country, those who have volunteered to help the isolated, and for others whom we will thank in our prayers in a moment, who've kept our communities running in shops, on buses, on radio and television stations. Let's take a moment to remember them all and to give thanks for them all. Shall we stand as a mark of respect and as I pray a prayer of thanksgiving? Almighty God, Father, Son and Holy Spirit, we bring to you our thanks for the service of so many who have served in the face of the pandemic, a service which is still going on and may do so for some more time to come. We thank you for their dedication to their patients and sympathy for relatives. We thank you for their willingness to work long hours in difficult circumstances. We thank you for their skill in treating the ill and developing new scientific technologies. We thank you for all who have enabled this care to happen. Cleaners and cooks, paramedics and care assistants, administrators and doctors, physiotherapists and pharmacists. We thank you for all who have worked and continue to work to ensure that our physical needs are met, people we overlook and hardly cast an eye over as they go about their work. We thank you for supermarket staff, for delivery drivers, for members of other emergency services, for teachers, refuse collectors, post-delivery people, and so many others, particularly those who have worked in a voluntary capacity. May they know that each and every one of them is appreciated by us, and may they know your power and strength in their lives. These things we pray in Jesus' name, who taught us all to pray and to say, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And so we come to our last hymn, a hymn of thanksgiving. But before we do that, I'd like just to thank everyone who has organised this afternoon, and particularly an extra service like this doesn't happen without people working in the background. So thank you to you all. And an invitation to everyone to, as you leave, to take either a prayer, Footprints prayer bookmark, or a Dove Christmas decoration as a memory of the people that you've been thinking of this afternoon. I would invite you to leave through this door when the time comes, and also to collect something you would like as a memento, but also then to stay for refreshments. But we end this service on a note of thanksgiving. Thanksgiving for lives well lived, thanksgiving for lives of service, but above all, thanksgiving to God for his love for us through Jesus Christ and his Holy Spirit. Now thank we all our God. May we live life with gratitude for the past, with joy in the present, and hope for the future. May we trust in God who brings life out of death and receive his never-ending peace and mercy. And may the blessing of God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit dwell deeply and richly in each one of us and those whom we love, this day and forevermore. Amen.